Yo, what's good, everybody? Welcome back to Fed by Fire. Grab a seat, lock in, because today's episode, man, this one's a tour through four corners of the drug world, and not a TV movie version. I'm talking what's actually happening out there right now in America. And the craziest part, every one of these stories dropped within the last year. These ain't urban legends. This is real world moving underneath your feet. We're going to hit Georgia, Sinaloa, Los Angeles, and Seattle. Four different universes, one thing in common. The drug game ain't slowing down for nobody. Let's get into it. Alright, story one. The Georgia jalapeno meth lab. The operation ran from January to August 2024. Pleas and sentencings in 2025. Alright, picture this. In deep Georgia, back roads, not Atlanta, not the city. I'm talking pine trees, red dirt, no street lights, the kind of backwoods where your phone loses service and the nights get just a little too quiet. And tucked way out there, a whole damn empire. And not the little boy stuff, but this was extraordinary. This was the jalapeno meth lab, and yeah, that was the real nickname the DEA gave it. From all their intel from the operation behind the scenes, over 3,200 kilos of ice. Let me say that again. 32 metric tons of crystal moved through Georgia like it was nothing. That's a whole supply chain. That's international level trafficking squeezed into small town America. This wasn't kids in a shed. These were grown men with a distribution, storage, laundering, transport. They had farms, stash houses, tractor trailers, pipeline routes. They cooked in one spot, moved in another, laundered in another. And here's the cold part. They ran it smooth for months before everything cracked. DEA, state task forces, undercover buys, surveillance, all happened in 2024, 2025. Then comes around guilty pleas, indictments, cooperation deals, people flipping everywhere. And in 2026, the hammer's coming down. More sentencing is lined up. I'll be back with that one with the jalapeno operation with 32 tons. This isn't TV, this is real life. Alright, let's go to the next one. Story number two. The Sinaloa cartel coordinate Tapia Quintero. Guilty plea November 2025. Sentencing going to be on February 2nd, 2026. Now let's jump from Georgia woods to Sinaloa, Mexico. Birthplace of some of the biggest traffickers in the world has ever seen. Jose Guadalupe Tapia Quintero. If you know cartel structure, you know the job titles matter. This dude wasn't the guy cooking. He wasn't the street soldier. He was the coordinator. Meaning, he was the guy making sure tons of meth made it across the border into the United States. From 2006 to 2012, he was basically a logistics general. You want ice moved? Tapia Quintero lined it up. The carriers, the stash houses, the routes, the transport money, the pickups, the drop-offs, the whole playbook. He handled ton quantities, not pounds, not keys, direct pipeline from Sinaloa into the U.S. And while all that is hitting American streets, dude is also washing the money, hiding ownership, breaking it up, sending it back home. Cash gets collected in Arizona stash houses, bundled, driven right back to Mexico, where he and the others pocketed and do what they have finally done. He finally got bagged, extradited, and on November 17th, 2025, he stood in court and said, "Yeah, I did that." Now he's waiting on February 2nd, 2026, where he's looking at decades and a fat $10 million fine or life, whichever comes first. This cartel, upper management getting clipped, which don't happen often. Alright, buckle in. The next one, straight nightmare fuel. Story 3, 628,000 carfentanyl pills in Los Angeles. Operation happened in October 2025. Let me paint the picture for you. Alright, police in LA hit a stash spot. They opened the door, and inside 628,000 pills. Not fentanyl, not fetty, not oxy, not blow, but carfentanyl. If you don't know exactly what that is, it's the stuff they use to tranquilize elephants. Supposedly, one micro dot could end your whole day. It's 100 times stronger than fentanyl, 10,000 times stronger than morphine. 628,000 pills sitting in a single location in Los Angeles County. Yeah, you touch the wrong tray or inhale a few grains, you're gone. I know that from experience. This wasn't a whole cartel. This wasn't a giant network. This was one damn trafficker. One, meaning somebody had access to that supply. Somebody had a pipeline. Somebody had buyers. Somebody had a plan. Thank God it never hit the street. Because if 1% of those pills made it out, you're looking at a mass casualty of numbers. DA, local PD, and sheriffs, they all came together for this operation, and honestly, this one might have saved thousands of lives without people ever knowing it. But let that sink in. Alright, the last one. And this one, it's wild in a whole different way. Story number 4, Seattle's twin takedowns. Alright, the family ring and the farm of guns, fentanyl, and cockfighting. Alright, the takedown happened on October 16th and October 28th, 2025. Seattle people think rain, tech bros, coffee vibes, but underneath that, the Northwest got its own trafficking scene. In 2025, exposed 2 huge criminal networks running side by side. The first takedown happened on October 16th, 2025. A 10-month investigation started with a traffic stop. A Tolupe tribal police officer pulls over a dude named Carlos Gatana Escandon, finds fentanyl, cash powder. That's the one that cracked the whole operation open. Turns out that Gutana Escandon family, his family was from Ecuador. I probably butchered that. He was running a ring with undercover buys, stash houses, firearms, and law enforcement eventually seized over $22K in cash, 2 kilos of fentanyl powder, 3 kilos of ice, 36,000 fentanyl pills, and smaller amounts of H, blow, and bud, and 4 guns. This was a family business, except instead of a restaurant or a corner store, it was a fentanyl. Fentanyl takedown happened on October 8th, 2025. 2 weeks later, another ring gets hit, and this one is straight insane. The cops pull up to a rural property in Lewis County. Underground pit fighting, dozens of roosters, firearms everywhere, and improvised explosive devices in the ground, stash houses, rooms filled with drugs, where we're talking 105,000 fentanyl pills, 34 kilos of fentanyl powder, 3.7 kilos of meth, a kilo of H, 8.7 kilos of blow, 140K in cash, 2 dozen guns, and that homemade explosive device. Plus, one of the main guys was riding around with 1.6 kilos of fentanyl just chilling in his vehicle like it was groceries. DA and Seattle PD, IRS sheriffs, everybody teamed up to put this down. 2 rings, 2 takedowns, tons of fentanyl, literally millions of lethal doses taken off the street. And here's the scary part. Seattle ain't even a cartel hub. This is just what's happening in the quiet cities. Now, that's today's world, man. Not the 1990s, not some movie. This is today. Georgia's cooking tons of ice. Sinaloa operators getting snatched at the top floor. LA nearly unleashed a literal elephant tranquilizers into the street. And Seattle running a family fentanyl ring and farms full of guns and explosives. And it all happened inside a year. I'm not here to glorify it. I'm not here to preach either. I'm here to tell you what's going on, raw, unfiltered, the way the news won't say it. This is Fed by Fire, where we don't look away, we don't sugarcoat, and we damn sure don't pretend the world is something it isn't. I'll catch y'all on the next one. Thank you guys for all the love and support. Peace.